Hey everybody, FunshineX here. Welcome back to Star Technology. I am here in the kind of the essence room, and we're going to be making some nether stars today. I tried to build this on camera and I failed, and so I tore a bunch of it down. We're going to try again. um, but yeah, this is the process to make nether stars. We need 4 different shards, so lightning, earth, fire, and ice. And each of them are going to go through a process where we take a chemical reactor, a mixer, an extractor, and an autoclave. And each recipe has a different minimum. I could have just done them all at IV. I probably should have. But I was just putting this together and didn't really realize what recipes I needed. Anyway, once we get the 4 shards out of the autoclaves, then they go into a forming press to make the nether star, like weakened, and then we explode it in the implosion compressor, which is another one of these 3x3x3 machines, multi-blocks, whatever. So we're gonna use a laser IO to move everything around, mostly because of the mixer recipe needs a very specific amount of resources. I could probably just use applied energistics, honestly, on each recipe, be fine. But whatever. Everything that we need is here. It's not that much, I don't know. A lot of material. It's cobalt, platinum, rhodium, sulfur, carbon, TNT, gunpowder, and coal. Also some helium, some deuterium, and some fluorine. Now we've made all this a past except for TNT. TNT I'm making over in the passive tower. Sulfuric acid we're already making, and then gelid toluene is just a fluid solidifier with toluene, which we are getting out of one of the distilleries. So actually starting to use some of the liquids we're making in those distilleries. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to stick a laser node here and go ahead on the downside. I'm going to try and keep it to 1 color per crystal, I guess. So we're actually going to have 4 item extractors, 1 for each line, and then 4, actually only 3 fluids. So let's do it like that. And so I'm going to say extract on orange, extract on pink, extract on blue, and extract on yellow. All right. And then this one will mirror it. Oops. Extract orange, purple, and blue. Okay. And I also want to filter. Do we want to filter? I think we do. Otherwise, it'll just grab anything out of here. I guess we could always filter on the imports. Yeah, I guess the exports would just grab everything and then filter on the imports. That's fine. Okay, so let's put stuff into the chemical reactors. And I'm not going to link them yet so that it doesn't do anything yet. But in this chemical reactor, if we just look at the ice shard, we're going to trace this back. We're trying to get some blizz powder, and that's going to be cobalt and the fluorine. So here we're going to have an item inserter and a fluid inserter, and they're both going to be on orange. And then we need a filter, and I don't care about the exact amounts, just that we actually get it. So cobalt on the item and fluorine, basic filter fluorine. Okay, so that now if we connect here to here, should put everything in there. I've also stick a stone button in here just so that it doesn't fill up with 2 stacks of cobalt. No reason for it to, and the stone button doesn't do anything other than take up a slot. Okay, and so we're getting blizz powder. Perfect. Let's go ahead and do the rest. This is the deuterium. It needs platinum with it. So item liquid. This will be on channel 2. Filter. Where's the platinum? Did I put that on up? I put it north for some reason. It's gonna be south. Okay. You and you. correct. If you're having problems with this, you notice I've set all of these already before I'm sticking down the laser node. I don't need really the auto output. I just wanted to make sure I've touched each one. I know that I've set them up if I set them all up correctly, if I've got orange and blue. But they do need to have this allow the input through the output side if you want to hook these up. And also if you change that setting and the node's already down, it like doesn't recognize it. That's one of the main problems I was having, is like the laser IO nodes were not interacting with the machines. And if I broke them and put them back down, they would work all of a sudden. So something interesting with that. But let's think that guy. And that is working now. Perfect. All right, third one. This is the helium. And it needs to go with small rhodium. So we insert on 3 basic there. 3. All right, this is working much better. Perfect. Last one. This one doesn't need a gas to make the blitz powder. Or no, that's not right. Oh, that's the fire one. Sorry, I've got them in the wrong order. You just need blaze powder, and that's made with just sulfur and carbon. So that's why we only need an item for this one. And this we will do a counting filter, just so we get the exact amount. Of 50-50 or whatever. So that, oops. How do you get out of that menu if you right click on that? Anyway, sulfur, carbon. I'm gonna go ahead and put these up to like half a stack, or a quarter of a stack. Let's do a quarter stack. Okay, and then we can go and link that one. Another problem I was having is I think some of my nodes, as they were like getting connected, I was actually unconnecting them, but the red lines are hard to see when they start overlapping. And one cool thing you can do to make sure these nodes are on the same network is come to like your main one that you're using and click this button and change it to another color. So I'm going to make it yellow and hit apply. Now everything that's part of that network will change to the same color. So if I've got one that I've forgotten to attach to another node, it will be red. And now I know, okay, haven't done anything. Okay, so we've got our first stage here done. Now we've got this one. And so I'm gonna go ahead and just grab 4 nodes there. And on this side, we'll just get an item extractor on the right channel. Right, that should grab the stuff coming out of those. Okay, the mixer recipes are going to be used to make the charges, and so they're all going to take coal dust and gunpowder, and they're either going to take ice charges, earth charges, fire charges, or lightning charges. Right? Or no, that's what we're making. Sorry. That's wrong. Yeah, they need the powder form. Go away. All you guys go away. Powder. That's what I want. Okay. So in here, we'll grab an item card. And it's going to be a counting filter. Insert on orange. And we want coal dust, gunpowder, and I think this is the frost one, so put blitz, and we'll put them all on like 16 again. Is it like shift click? Shift click goes up by 10. That could be a little faster. Okay, so that one should be good. If we now collect from here to here, it'll turn yellow and start filling this. It does matter speed, because it's not really on round robin or whatever. And before, when I first set this up, I only did one exporter of the coal and the gunpowder and then put it in each one, and it was not doing round robin, and it was too slow. And I think there is ways to force these to do round robin, but it's just I would have to get the upgrade cards to make it fast enough. But by having 4 cards, it's going to work fine. Okay, so this one will be an item inserter, or yeah, inserter on 2, counting, coal dust, gunpowder, and which one are you? Blitz? Blitz there. Mannequin. We'll make these all 16. Okay. Let's get our light charts. Cool. All right, this guy. Should be the solves. Yep. We like running short on coal dust? No, no, carbon dust. All right, last one for this. Hey. Any day? Maybe? There it goes. I don't know. Sometimes it's just slow. Okay, so that gets us all our charges. Now over here, we're going to take this same powder that we're using to make the charge, but we're going to extract it to get its liquid form. So I'm already extracting it. I should just need to insert it. And it'll be really easy because we'll just do a normal filter. That should be all we need. As long as we don't put the wrong color in the wrong place, we'll be good. And these already had some fluid because when I was making it work before, let's connect that one to there, 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 to there. And these are, yeah, not going to run because they're already full, but perfect. All right, last thing, we connect it all up into the autoclave. The autoclave is going to need the fluid. So let's go ahead and extract all the fluids. And this will be a fluid extractor. You guys got any more tips for ways to make Ender or Laser IO even smoother? Let me know. Share it with everybody. Oh, I don't need that. You extract yellow. Go away, filter. I don't need to filter anything. All right, so that should be pulling out everything we need. And then we need to put it in here. So an item and a fluid in each of these. There might be some like copy paste I could be getting away with. Won't move that around easy. Oh well. Okay. So I need to get the charges on here. Okay, so item, insert, orange, basic filter, ice charge. I don't know why it says 63, but it doesn't really matter. Fluid filter, orange, basic filter. Okay, this guy. Lightning charge. Liquid blitz. Earth charge. Liquid basalt. And last but not least, fire charge. Liquid blaze. Okay. These up. Are we not? I don't think we're picking up these, are we? Oh yeah, we're never extracted the charges. Let's do that real quick. I should make this run now. Okay, cool. All right, all of those are running. And those, wait, oh, I was like, where are they going? They're a percentage recipe. So it's a 50% chance to get one of these. Wait, does that say 80%? Oh, that's because it's a different recipe. There's another, once we get a bunch of these going, we can actually break down the nether stars back into these energized shards and just loop them this way. But you can't control which, well, I guess you can, but based on what liquid you mix it with it. You'd have to just know which ones you're low on and send those to. I don't know, it seems pretty complicated, but we'll get there eventually. The reason we'll need to switch to this at some point is you can see at EV, this takes 24 seconds and gives you half a chance, or 50% chance of getting one. If we go up to IV, we get twice as fast, but we actually lose 10% on the on getting one. And if we go up even more, it's really fast, but we're wasting a lot of material because we don't get anything. So as you upgrade, it's better to not go for more energy and more for speed, but actually to start doing this looping recipe, because then you actually get to where you're guaranteed to get one at UV. But we do have a few, each one, and we need to now put them in here. So do I need, no, I don't. I can just grab them right out of here. So an item, extract. Right, and then in here we'll do an, oh, we don't want to put those on that, on the colors. We want these on their own color. So let's make this black. Okay. Now we can just have one card here that's an item inserter with a counting filter, and we want one of each of these. don't know why it's put weird numbers on there. Maybe we'll go down to 4 then. Oops. Okay, 4 of each is fine. This is insert from black. Now I should just need to link any of these. That. Perfect. And that's going to start. Now this recipe is a 15-second recipe at IV. Okay. And now we've got 2 input buses on this explosion compressor or whatever. Implosion. One is going to be for the nether shard, and the other one's going to be from the TNT. So you'll notice I don't have them pointed out because they will actually suck the card out of this node into their inventory. So if you grab a wrench, do I even have my wrench? I'm not seeing it in here. I don't know. It's somewhere in here, or it broke. I don't know. There it is. If you hold a wrench, you can change the directions these point, and they don't have to point out. So I've pointed them down, so they're just looking at these blocks. They'll never suck anything in. So that's going to work great. So that is a trick for this mod. Okay, so from here, let's get an extraction of the item. Let's put it on red, and that will pull out the impure nether stars. And I think I can, yeah, I might be able to sneak onto that one. Oh yeah, it tells you which one it is. And we'll do an item insert. It should be the only thing on red. So if we link that guy to that guy, should see nether stars in there. Okay. Now the last thing, we've got to pull TNT from way over here. So on the down, let's get one last item, and we'll pull that on whatever green, channel 13 that is. And then we'll come here, inserter, green. Connect that. That's not right. Channel you. Oh, we need a filter here because it's pulling everything. Just TNT, please. There it goes. Okay, you can see this recipe is super quick. It uses 4 TNT and 1 of those nether shards.
Finding some recipes with 4 TT1.
Oh, Echo, sorry. Stop. Said the forbidden words. Anyway, and now we've got it gives you some random crap that I've just got on an interface, but then we've also got this is the dark ashes. I'm gonna switch these up real quick. Well, now I don't know which one the nether stars are going to go on. Anyway, we'll make nether stars. I've got tons of them. Can I stick them back in here? No, but there's one. All right, so storage bus here. As long as I never pull up the last one, it should be okay. Get this last, and it can also be pull only. Okay. So we now have nether stars. Cool. A lot of them. Let's put everything away and talk about quest log. Actually, let's clean all this out of here. Oop, missed one. So this was the entire thing we just did. We made all the powders, made all the charges, all the infused shards, and then got the nether star. And it's like, by the way, you need a potion compressor. And then here is the looping thing. So if we then go in the forge hammer, we might as well do this just to get the quest done. So let's get 1 star, and then do we have a forge hammer somewhere? Forge hammer. Did we build one? Forming press. That's not a hammer. And there's nothing over here. Sifter. Looked like a hammer for a second. I tell you guys, since I only play this like once a week or maybe twice a week, I just forget what we have and what we don't have. Alright, looks like we don't have a forge hammer. Let's go here, and I guess we'll make it pink. Or should we just make a blue one? No, I don't want a blue one. Taking so long with the wires. Hello? Wires? You just forgot it needed to make them. Alright, whatever. Alright, forge hammer. Got room for you right here. Go in there. Alright. I should have 5 nether star shards. And then we would need to polarize it. Which I happen to have a polarizer right here. Hey, that was convenient. So I think I might as well just do, well, no, because I might throw stuff in here and forget that it's connecting to the polarizer. Okay, and we get one of those. It's gonna unlock all that. Beautiful, a whole nother thing done. And let's talk about why we are getting nether stars. If we look at futuristic mechanisms, I will get into some of the stuff I did in between, but there's kind of 3 directions we can go right now. One would be to get the elite circuit assembler and get into quantum circuits so that we can get ZPM. The other would get into assembly line of research, but I haven't done enough personal research on how this all works, and so I can hold off on that just a minute. And so the third one would be into into Naquita. That gets us a new coil, gets us a new wafer, gets us some new chips, and gets us a lot more stuff. Everything else is blocked behind that. So we should be getting to this tier as soon as we can. And so I'm like, well, I've got everything I need to get there, right? And I looked at this. I'm like, oh yeah, just this little block. Let's see what kind of multi-block it is. Bam! Holy moly. Biggest net multi-block we've built by far. And it's not cheap stuff either. To actually make this. But yeah, that's what we're gonna need to make. And this thing processes nether star shards into raw Naquita. Only a minute. So that's cool. We're not going to need a ton of nether star shards, I guess, because we get 5 for every star. And then we get a stack of this for every... So 5 stacks for every star. And then we need to make PCB at some point as well, but that's okay. But yeah, that's kind of like why we went down the nether star route, is I want to get that giant multi-block. So that's probably going to be a couple episodes before I can get everything ready to make that, depending on how long I have to play. But there are a few things that I did in between episodes. Is in our large, they used to be called HV, but they're not HV anymore because now they're all running at IV. I've built all of them. So there were 5 that we did not have yet. Forming press, autoclave, electrolyzer, rock crusher, and sifter. And so these are all online, and they all have pattern providers. So if I want to use them for any kind of automation, I can. Built the second floor with a little railing and a railing here so you don't accidentally run into the machine. Whatever. So I did that. And then remember last time we made this big old machine? Well, I finally got some things running on it. So I've got the chip in here and it'll work fine. I can make the 13s and the 14s are the different chip recipes we've got. But I put in the Ruridit, which we had before. But I've also got the rhodium plated, all three of the HSS high strength steels, ultimate, and the twinite. The rhodium plated palladium is the next level of like hull we're going to build for all our machines, the LUV machines. And then the twinite is the next superconductor for the cabling, the wire for powering our LUV machines. So we need a lot of those. And so, yeah, that's all good. We've got a few inserts and exports. And if we come across a pattern that needs more than 2 items, then we might have to build a second one of these. Because as we saw in that episode, we ran out of we ran into the maximum number of ports that this thing supports. Port supports, yeah. But yeah, it's running at LUV. If we get some twinite, you can see we've actually got a ton of cable already. But it makes it pretty fast. Maybe. There it goes. So in 317 seconds, it makes 864 millibuckets, which is 6 ingots. So we're just over 50 seconds per ingot, which is about what we've been getting out of the blast furnace, right, on some of those recipes. So yeah, I should probably slowly convert most of these over to ABS, the ones that support it. Yeah, and then the last thing, I don't know if I showed this, but I did expand these. Why would help. So I built 2 more of each of these, and just to help our backlog, and cleaned it up a little bit down this hallway. And now, yeah, everything is immediately processed when it comes in. You don't even see it here in the interface. It just goes right in the storage. So it's great. And then I guess the last thing to show would be over the passive tower. Working on here. I cleaned up a lot of this, things that we no longer needed to provide. And then I'm keeping like all ingots on this one and all fluids in this one. Still need to, it's not perfect, but we're getting better. And then, yeah, so I've got some fine niobium and HSG and palladium, just things that we're going to need to build other stuff. And yeah, I already showed this, right? Hope I showed this. I can't remember which episode. I think I've showed this. Maybe I haven't. All right, well, if I haven't showed this, let me know if you're like confused about what are all these, then go, hey, you didn't show that. But yeah, this is it's coming along, guys. This is a crazy, crazy pack. Let's talk about maybe some next steps and what we plan to do. So I definitely want to get into assembly line. That'll probably be next episode, assuming I can do some research and finding out how this works. Because if you just look at recipes, there's a bunch of weird things. I'm like, what do we actually need this for? Because, I mean, this is UV. We're not going to get UV for a while, right? And there's just all these different components and stuff. One thing Star Technology Quest book does not really give you is a lot of instructions on why you should be anything. It's just like, hey, make this, then make this, then make this, and maybe you'll need it. Like all the distillery stuff, we're just like, well, we have all it now. What are we actually using it for? So other than scrolling through 95 recipes, I'm trying to find out like, hey, what am I actually going to need to make in one of these? Right away. You know, is there something we need now, or is it a future thing? I mean, if we just kind of like LUV energy hatch, here's one, right? This should be one of our next things. Because we're in LUV tier, we've got the eroding palladium, so we can make machine hulls. Definitely want to get LUV interchanges. Okay. But if I just look at the recipe for this, it tells me I can make one just by a data stick and an IV. But I don't think this is right. I think it's just interacting with JEI wrong. I think if I scan in a scanner a data stick with an IV energy hatch, I'm going to get like the recipe version of the LUV energy hatch. I don't think this is actually going to make me an energy hatch. Is it? Or does the... Yeah, I think this just makes me a data stick of energy hatches. And then I use that data stick here to actually make, with all this, to make the hatch. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. And I don't think this is consumed. Is that what that little O shows? Yeah, I don't know. So we're definitely at least going to get into data sticks and scanners. And then hopefully we get everything in the multi-block for assembly line. So that'll be maybe next episode. And then we'll have one where we start building some LUV tier machines. And you know, at the beginning, we built all the ULV, and then we upgraded everything to LV, and then everything to HV or whatever, EV and whatever. And we've slowly kind of moved away from that. We did it with purple, right? With the EV stuff. But with the IV, I've only built the ones I really need. And so with LUV, should I upgrade like some of these to LUV? Unless, you know, I could put them here or whatever, just as I need them? Or do you think I should just go through this entire room and upgrade everything, build an LUV, one of each of these? I don't know. Yeah, are we getting just like ludicrous as far as the speed it's going to create things in? I don't know, like sub-ticks or sub-seconds at least. Who knows? It'd be fun. But yeah, I think once we can get this guy, then we can at least build a few LUV machines and upgrade some of our microblock or multi-blocks that are slow. And then it's going to be collecting all the stuff for this multi-block. Oh, there is one thing in the middle. We maybe should do this next episode, and that's netherite. Yeah, I think we'll do that next. All right, hold the horses on what we're doing. We're going to do netherite. So I think it's in tier 1 or tier 2? Here it is. So this is one of the last things that we have on the first chapter production lines. We still haven't, I think we've made this, we just never checked it off. Probably the same thing with this one as well. We haven't gotten into plutonium yet, but this is the big unchecked, undone thing. And we're going to take the nether agglomeratio, which we've already made. We're using that for the nether air. And we need to extract tiny piles of debris dust. And I've actually set that up here. No, here? Right here. So I've been putting some agglomeratio in here to get tiny piles. Now it's a super small chance. It's like 2% chance to centrifuge it out of the agglomeratio. And it must be done at IV or higher. But once you get 1, which we have enough, right? We have 34. We have 3 actually. Once you get 1, we can, let's see what we do with it. We can just mix it with some argon gas and some gold and get some netherite. That's fine, but that's not what our job is. Our job is to put some chlorine trifluoride in an LCR with this debris dust. And we're going to get some purified debris, some titanium. So this will be an extra way to make some titanium, as if we needed that, but that's okay. Some sulfur dichloride, and we get a 30% chance of getting an extra small pile. And then if we take these small piles and you get the purified, you can mix that with tetrachloroethylene to get pure netherite. That's what we need for a bunch of our next tier. But we can also maybe do half of it in here, and then the other half we electrolyze, and it'll turn right back into debris dust. So if we can get a good, flow going, so half of this go back to debris dust, and then just loop, and the other half go into the pure netherite, then we never really have to centrifuge out those tiny piles again. As long as we're careful, we don't use our last one, into pure netherite. But yeah, once we get the pure netherite dust, we will cook it in netherite ingots, and then these guys are just used everywhere. In a lot of multi-blocks, I don't know. Where's like an assembler? Swore there was a multi-block that needed this. Didn't we just look at it? It's this one. Oh, the pure netherite plate. Double plates. Anything else? Maybe that's the only thing that needs it. I don't know. There's got to be something that needs the pure netherite other than just this, but we'll find that out as we get going. Guys, I'm going to keep this episode a little bit shorter today, so I get some other stuff done, but thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment below, and I'll see you next time. Catch you later. Bye.